back to Blue Fin Aquatics. Filtration. We've been asked before that in regards to how do we filter all our tanks. So basically we use 4 different types of filtering systems here at Blue Fin. At this very moment, the tanks that you can see at the back with the discs in, they're actually on a canister filter, one on each 3 tanks. And our larger tanks are also on canister filters. Also, we have at the very back, I'm not sure if you can see, there's a few setups here with our grow out tanks, which actually have the unit actually built into it, where all the media is actually compacted into like a square box, and the water gets pumped through the media and then actually out to the flow tap, where the water actually goes back into the tank. Also, we do use sponge filters for some of our grow out tanks, and mainly the sponge filters we use are actually in the gallery itself. It just makes easy sense to us. Once they are filled up, then we can just take them out and rinse them out and so forth. Now, when we do rinse them out, people say use the tank water, rinse them out and so forth, and that's fine to do that. We don't have any issue with that. We generally here, we just use normal rainwater, or we use a bit of the tap water to wash our sponges out to get them clean. But we've had no problems with the biological sponge filters picking up all the biological media through the tank to be able to kick it off and start it again. So that is a bit of a plus for us, considering we have so many tanks. Also, we have some filters here too with some of our other bigger show tanks, our reef tanks. We have a sump setup, so basically again, the water actually overflows into an overflow channel, which goes down, and the water actually spreads across the media, which then goes straight through to the media, right through to all the different courses of media, and then through some charcoal, and then right back into the tank, and then it just gets pumped back up and so forth and overflows again. So these are the basic 4 systems that we do use. Do we prefer one over the other? No, I don't think so. I think they all have their own benefits to what we need them to do. The canister filters that we do have, which are the most of the other E-Heims, they generally do a very good job for us, and we're having to, as you can see the discus tanks out the back there, we generally clean their filters out roughly, I'd say every 2 to 3 months, because we've overstocked them a bit, and also due to water changes as well. So we do like to keep our fish nice and healthy. So with our filtrations there in the gallery, as we mentioned, we just use our sponge filters, and again, through the course of checking our fish whilst we're doing it, we just rinse them out as we go along to make sure that the water is clean for our fish. We take good pride in our fish and make sure that their health is the most important thing that we're doing at the moment. Plus what we try and do too with a cleaning regime, we try with the discus, we try and clean their tanks at least twice a week. They're very good eaters, and also obviously they express a lot of feces as well on the bottom, so that can very quickly build up your ammonia and so forth, and then you've got trouble then, and then your fish start going downhill. So we find that doing a couple of weeks helps us to maintain the tanks as best as we can. Now, just as we're looking, I can see on the left-hand side there's a pair of discus actually laying eggs on the pole, and they're our selling discus, not actually breeding discus. So there you can see how it all basically happens there. So again, with our filtration here, we use the 4 systems that we have in place. We don't put everything onto a main system, purely because the experience of having a bacterial infection going right through all our tanks. Yes, doing it the way we're doing is a little bit harder, and it is more time consuming, but at the end of the day, it's rewarding. And you know, other people, bigger systems, big people that want the flow right through all their tanks and have the filtering going to like a major sump, if that works for you, that's great, you know. But for us, the experience of having an infection going right through your tanks is not what we'd like to do here. We like to have our tanks individually on sponge filters or canister filters and so forth, and this helps to rectify any problems in the tank that do happen. So if a disease gets into one of the tanks, we can then easily just isolate that tank and not worry about the other tanks that we have. Otherwise, it's a very costly exercise to actually get the chemicals in there and also drain the tanks and so forth. So it's a bit of a big job to do. So on the other hand, with the 4 canisters and the 4 other filters that we do use, we find it more beneficial to do it this way. So hopefully, you know, along the runs where yourself, you want to know what sort of filter you want to get yourself, just think about what you want to do, how you want to stock it, what you want to stock it with, and again, the size of the tank. How much of water do you want to actually put through? Do you really want to start off with a sponge filter? Do you want to start off with a canister filter? All these questions you need to ask yourself before you actually go out and set yourself up with an aquarium, and just look at what sort of fish you actually want to put in there and do something that is beneficial for them, because at the end of the day, they're the ones that are living in that tank. So if you like living in a toilet, and that's the way you leave your fish, that's how they're going to be, and the success rate of your fish will go down very, very quickly. So just in mind in general, just keep an idea of how you want your water to be filtered, and what it's going to be like, you know, down the track, how much more maintenance is there. We hope you've enjoyed this segment on our filtration system through Blue Fin with the 4 different types. We look forward to seeing you in the next video. Up until then, we'll talk to you then. Bye-bye.